Hello everyone and welcome to the back nine of round number 2 at the 2018 Memorial Championships presented by Discraft. Madison Walker joining me for some color commentary, giving us all the inside scoop. Madison, we're seeing some women take advantage of the distance on the front nine, but we've got plenty of par fours and challenge on the back. What are we going to see?
Yeah, I'd say the back nine is definitely where the scoring separation is going to occur. There's a lot more OB. There's a lot more risk taking.
Well, we'll see. With a back nine partner on the Disc Golf Pro Tour here during the second round, looks to be Prodigy Disc. Thank you so much, Prodigy.
So this next hole is another par 4. It is 651 feet, which is not as long as some of the other par 4s, but this one, in my opinion, is the most difficult hole on the course. There's so much trouble.
There is, and Catrina, unfortunately, I think the term is first available, meaning she hit the first tree available. And
did Paige throw a roller? Is that what I saw?
You did see Paige throw a roller. I saw you approaching way off in the distance, actually, as it was finishing, and Sarah Hokom hits the second tree available, and Jen Allen says, I'm going to take you at a totally different route from the previous 3 women and go big, huge flex turnover.
Yeah, she said, I'm going to take all those trees out of the equation.
And another roller here. You said it in the front nine that Catrina is one of the few women that you see throwing rollers in the FPO division, and she's one of the best out there.
Yes, she throws some extremely impressive shots. Hokom's going to just bite a little bit more off and kind of pitch, take her 4. It looks like that's the plan she's sticking to. Jen got way up the fairway in comparison to the other women on the card, but kind of, threw it a little bit low. There's a bunch of trees that you still have to worry about on your approach shot that require you to keep the shots low.
And Paige's was so far to the right that she went up the hillside and actually fought all the way through. There's not any out of bounds over there, but you saw, it's kind of a little bit of a just throw it up in the air and hope to get past the trees.
Wow, I did not know there was not out of bounds to the right of those trees. That kind of changes the hole a little.
There hasn't been for about 10 years now. They've taken it out of play. I think the trees make it punishing enough.
Yeah, the chances of you getting through those thick, low branches are slim. Looks like Hokom's going to have a really nice easy 4, which is so awesome on this hole. Basically, 60% of the field had above a par, bogey, double bogey on this hole. And there was 1-3 with Lisa Fakis. So it is not play easy in the women's field.
This is a very tough hole, and Jen Allen, after having such a great drive, her approach comes up short. She's got that long look, and Paige.
She's still going to have a 4.
Paige just giving one away there. She's less than 25 feet for the birdie, and right off the top.
Jen has a nice easy tap in 4.
Oh, Paige is getting serious when her hat comes off. Meanwhile,
gotta let your head breathe.
Yeah, something like that. So we're opening this back nine with this par 4. As you said, most scores are over par here on hole number 10. Hole number 11, it's another par 4, but there's a ladies' tee that's featured there, so it makes it a much more manageable par 4. Is that a fair way to say it?
Yeah, I would say that. There is OB on both sides again, but it's a lot easier to stay out of trouble because there's not any trees in the fairway that can stop your shot.
That was a pretty safe and conservative shot there for Hokom.
Too low. Sorry, bro. Sit.
Jen says that one's too low. She's really got to take advantage when she has the opportunity to throw a nice long bombing shot like that one. I think she's got to take better advantage of that. Meanwhile, wow. Paige is doing just that.
Wow. She gets past the 2 trees in the fairway that don't even come into play on most women's first shot.
And we talked earlier about Catrina's hyzer flip-up shot, and that had enough stability. It kind of fought back quickly, but that's a really good place to be as well.
Yeah, she'll have a look at 3.
Come on back now.
Jen looks like she kind of held on a little bit too long, but it errored out perfectly, and
Just like that flutter
she'll have
for
an
that
easy
half
3.
second.
As Hokom said, oh, whoops, yeah, you just parked it.
Oops, I messed up and parked it.
I hate when that happens. Meanwhile, Hokom plays her flex shot, and that's going to come up short. She'll have a look. She's got a good angle at that putt, but that's definitely short.
Catrina will have a tap in for birdie.
And Paige with the luxury of a standstill approach, and then she's closest to the pin on the approach shots. Well,
Unbelievable.
Hokom's looking at a circle too, about 45, maybe 50 feet.
There were a lot more birdies in the women's field on this hole. 30% birdied, so that's huge for a par 4. Oh, no.
And her putting woes returned. We saw her really struggle on 6 and 7 on the last video, and she just gave away, not even drawing any medal, unfortunately. It's hopes that she can still turn things around.
I did watch Catrina make 100% of the putts she went for with her bag on, so not saying anything, but...
Good call. UDisc needs that stat as well. As we thank UDiscLive.com. Is how often do we see, you could say Ricky, with his cart, or Paul Macbeth occasionally with his bag. Sometimes just getting up and throwing is the way to do it.
100%. So this one is another ladies' tee that they changed from the years prior. They only took, would you say about 40 or 50 feet off the hole?
I would say it was at least that. I want to say it's closer to 100. I feel like the men's tee is around 360.
Okay,
Maybe
and this one's at 282, so yeah, that makes sense. It definitely brings the birdie into play. Reachable. It's a little bit uphill, so it might play a little closer to 300 feet, but definitely a birdie hole for most of the ladies' field.
So interestingly enough, as Sarah puts it right up there next to the pin, you said ladies' tee. You referred to the women as ladies. Do you have a strong opinion one way or another? We've gotten a little feedback of using the term ladies versus women. Does that matter to you when we're out here on the golf course, Madison?
It doesn't at all. It sounds a little weird when people say girls.
Sure.
But other than that, we are ladies and we are women.
Okay.
I guess there's only one word for men. I can't even think of the equivalent.
Probably not worth it. Meanwhile, Jen also misses her birdie. We saw Kat draw medal. We saw Paige draw medal. And meanwhile, as I've just said, Sarah Hokom, though, she's just waiting her turn. She's parked. Didn't Paige start out the round wearing shorts? Wearing pants? Has it gotten that much warmer throughout the round?
Oh yeah, in Arizona, it's crazy how much it changes throughout the round, especially in the morning. I'll start out with 4 or 5 layers on. Look at Hokom with that birdie putt. And end up wearing shorts and a short sleeve shirt. So yeah, it changed a lot. I would say anywhere from 15 to 20 degrees.
Well, they're going to have a long walk back over to hole number 13. We're moving into the final 1/3 of the second round, and Hokom on the board with a birdie there. I believe that's her first birdie of the round. She started the round with a bogey and then gets her first birdie. Lots of par golf in between, and she's doing just fine.
Which is just what you want to do at Vista. You just want to maintain. Even par is great, unless you're Paige. So this actually, on the stats, it says this is the first most difficult hole on the course. I would agree with that. You throwing over water, and there's a lot of trees that are kind of blocking like a backboard, which would bounce you into the water if you hit any of them. There's also a Mando on the left side that you can see Paige's disc is kind of flirting with. I think it's past it. That you don't want to be tucked short of that and left. So it is a tricky tee shot. It's really easy if you put your drive short and left to be set up for a 4, because you have to go around that Mando.
And that Mando is new this year. That's never been in play before all the years I've been out here at the Memorial. So they're just really trying to take away the idea of somebody throwing out and over the sidewalk area and, possibly have an errant shot, kind of like we just saw from Catrina. And so Kat, after not making the Mando, goes to the drop zone. And I could see how this comes in as the most difficult hole because there's 100 different ways to bogey it, and very few people are going to birdie it. Does it say just how few the birdies were? I'm guessing there were one or less.
Yes, it says no birdies.
Okay.
No birdies. 62% of the field bogey, double bogey, or even there was a couple triple bogeys.
I can understand that because there's lots of opportunities for bogey as I'm trying to spit that out, but very few for the birdie. It's even tough for me to say.
Was that Hokom for a 3?
Yeah, that was Hokom for a 3.
That is very solid.
When in doubt, just assume she's taking the par out here.
Yep. Steady.
And the bogey by Jen Allen, and Catrina's going to have the bogey after missing the mandatory, and Paige gave it a long run, but she's going to walk away with the par. So 2 pars and 2 bogeys here on 13. Looks like a little better than the average for the rest of the field. That's why they're the lead card.
Definitely. And it's not even a long hole, but man, was it tricky.
Paige trying to distance herself. You see that she's just 3 ahead of Hokom, but then really pulling away from everyone else there on the lead card.
So this is another par 4 at 655 feet. There's some trees that are taking away a lot of your comfortable shots off the tee, but there is a nice hyzer line you'll see Paige take. This one you, again, just want to land in the middle. There's OB left and right, a sidewalk on the right, and a OB line on the left. If you want to try to bite off as much as you can off the tee, like Jen and Paige are both doing, because the approach shot, there's some trees in play, and again, the OB kind of narrows around behind the basket.
Well, and we saw Paige not really flirt with that mandatory tree, but put herself in the center of the fairway along with distance. You just really couldn't draw up a better drive than what we just saw from Pierce. And anywhere out in the open is good, but she had not only the positioning, but also the distance.
Totally. You can see Hokom's putting her forehand out over OB right now, but she always can trust it to come back in. She's right in the middle, just where you want to be.
Advantage in terms of having the distance here at 655 feet, taking as much as you can off those tee shots. You have a little bit of a backdrop way behind the basket, and the Keen Wall is a great sponsor and supporter of the Disc Golf Pro Tour.
Catrina looks like she might have set herself up with an inside the circle putt. I can't really tell till we get up there. But those 2 big trees on the right really take out the hyzers. You can see Paige is going to work it looks like a putter. And just throw her perfect linear approach shot that she does.
Again, making very easy work here on the par 4.
This lead car is making this hole look easy. With the people I played with, I saw a lot of OBs. I saw a lot of bogeys and double bogeys. So to see them playing this hole really clean is nice. And it's just what we would expect from our ladies lead card.
And a nice long look there, and she seemed to be on point. That time just a bit short. We've seen a few of Catrina's go up and over the basket. We'll see if she keeps her big putting percentage on track, as you said, 100%.
I am not surprised at all. I watched her hit one on an elevated basket at Fountain with the bag on, with a headwind. It was very impressive.
And like you said, they're playing this very well. This is a much more challenging hole than I think they're making it look. And we'll see as everyone's tapping out. Paige has got the tap-in birdie. Doesn't get any better than that. We'll be back with you after a word from Discraft.
Oh, hey, are you guys looking for a disc that flies pretty straight? I would recommend the Avenger SS. I really like this disc because it's a nice straight fairway driver. What I would recommend for anybody looking for a nice straight drive is a disc that's slightly understable, where you can throw it out at a hyzer flip, let it fly, but it's still gonna come back. If you try and throw anything that's overstable, you're gonna have to crank it too hard, and now you're going against that whole straight flight that you're looking for. So if you're looking for that nice straight driver right out of the box, give the Avenger SS a try.
And some great words of advice from 4-time world champion Valerie Jenkins.
Always good to see her face.
Paige teeing off from the women's tee that they have here on hole number 15. This is the last par 4, and I know I sound like a broken record, but if you can take advantage of the distance that you have, you're going to be looking at birdies more often than not here on 15.
Love to see a Hokom backhand. It's a rare gem, but always awesome to see. I really like the women's tee pad they made on this hole. I don't know exactly how much distance they took off, but it really does set us up for some scoring opportunities. I think it's a 3 that any one of us could get, but that you'll see the approach shot is a little bit hairy.
I think almost 200 feet is the difference between the tee that you guys are teeing from here versus what the men teed from nearly directly behind. And it certainly favors a righty, and hence so much that we saw Sarah Hokom even go with a backhand drive. But I agree with you. I think this hole sets up great. There's so much OB that can come into play. All of those sidewalks, plus the mandatories. You could easily find yourself taking a 4, 5, or 6. But if you play it really well, you may be able to get up and down and be looking at a 3.
100%.
First forehand that we've seen from Catrina, and it looks to be pretty effective. Checks up next to the basket.
The only trouble around this basket is the sidewalk, but it's far enough off where unless you really get a hold of one, you don't really have to worry about it. Paige throws one right up under the tree in the shade. Sarah still has a little distance on her approach, but she's going to place it up with her forehand approach.
And Jen Allen just inside circle's edge, looking at a birdie from about 29 feet. And not enough.
So close. Katrina's also looking for a birdie, and she connects.
That is a great putt. Yeah, we've seen her struggle, and that one I really liked how it looked coming in. Really, no doubt.
It's good that she can keep her confidence. That one looked very confident.
And
Paige also looking for a 3.
And by this time, I actually see Wes in the background. Wes, thank you so much for the help throughout the weekend. He was around driving these the SD cards back and forth so we could take this women's footage and get it spliced into the live broadcast in the afternoon. He was one of the many staff and helpers and volunteers out there. So Wes, we very much appreciate it, along with everyone else there on site.
Awesome.
So pair of birdies. Paige has got the last two there.
That hole, there was actually 60% of women that birdied it, so that's awesome to see some scoring opportunities.
I agree, and we're watching hole number 16, 372 feet. I love the play here by Catrina. We'll see if it works for her.
Such a smart move.
Why is she throwing a roller there?
Wow. There's some OB left. You can see the sidewalk on the left-hand side. So you do want it to finish to the right. And so the righty hyzer is a little bit of a scary play, especially if you get a skip on the end. So the roller's awesome, especially because this basket's up on a hill. So it, hopefully we'll have enough power to kind of fight up that hill.
It looks like it's fighting back. She's going to use all of the fairway. She's got to get it to stop. That can be a little scary because if that skip flares just a little bit more, she's out of bounds.
This basket, the way it's set on that hill, it doesn't look so steep, but it really is, and it can make or break you. Wow, that is huge.
And that's a turkey. That's the last 3 holes. Paige Pierce birdieing them. Very impressive.
Is that at circle 2?
That might have been Circle Ricky. That was way downtown.
Why you didn't want to do it?
So this is where the hill can really just crush dreams.
She says she told herself to lay up, but Jan, I don't know if you committed to laying up because It's
hard to lay up in round 2.
Especially after just seeing Paige bang one from way outside.
I know. I think to be one of the disc golfers competing at the high levels, you got to have a little bit of greediness. You got to go for those.
And that was a good run by Kat.
Katrina's lays down.
Yeah, I mean, she missed it, and it was to the right. But, I mean, the stroke looked good. the speed, the distance, everything was good. That time she was off center, but it looked like, a really solid stroke otherwise.
And it laid down, and that's what we want on
That
this
is very
hill.
true. So we're going to see, again, a little bit of a scoring spread here with Paige hitting the long putt.
Paige was the only 2 on that hole in the whole women's field that day.
What do they say? Paige doing Paige things? Is that appropriate comment here?
Yeah, or you could say nobody's surprised.
Another partner, Dynamic Disc, in the background with their new RV out on the road, and Paige with the last 3 holes in a row for birdie. Not too often we see the forehand drive, but here it comes.
This one, there's some OB on the left with the sidewalk and deep in that cobblestone. It's a short hole. It's only 243 feet, and it's downhill as well, so you don't want to put too much on it. You want to kind of throw this with a little bit of a touchy feeling.
No, I know all about touchy feeling. That comes in, sits down, really nice. And that's the one bad play there, is when you come in with a forehand, like we saw from Paige, which went OB, or Hokom there, you have a really good chance for it to get up and then roll down. So personally, I love the backhand putter or backhand mid-range, and we saw the Allen sisters park them. So
it's nice that wall's there to block the OB
which I know
roll.
is a continued debate. This is Hokom for birdie.
Oh! Wow. That is huge. And it's uphill, too. You can't tell, but that is way uphill.
She even got the little bowler leg kick in there. I love it. And a great birdie.
Wow.
Now, Paige.
Just trying to...
Yeah, go ahead. I was going to say, Paige has to follow that one now, and she was out of bounds, so she's looking at trying to save a par here.
This is one that it does not feel good to... Oh my gosh, that is awesome. I was going to say it does not feel good to bogey, but it's, you don't have to worry about it.
No worries there. So, huge putt by Hokom for the birdie, a huge putt by Paige to save the par, and then a pair of tap-ins. They went 3 down out of 4 women. What a great second to last hole.
That is what we like to see.
Also, the shortest hole found at the Vista del Camino Course. Paige is going to give up the honors here on the final hole, but still a great putt that saved her the par. This is Catrina Allen on the tee.
This is another one where we had a bit of a tee pad change for the FPO field. It shortened about 100 feet. Definitely puts the birdies into play, but the basket is still really close to the water. So, wow, that was a big skip.
It was grip 6. she says playing it off the walls. I don't know if she thinks she's playing hockey, but yeah. So as you were saying, this is actually a shortened pin by about 100 feet. Or I think it's 60 to 80 feet or so. You see the basket holder in the background. So the pin is short and the tees are the same. So the water still comes into play. The OB sidewalk still comes into play. It's just a matter of playing to a slightly shorter basket. And Paige has a mid-range in her hands, I think.
Yeah, and did not stable out as much as she would like, but it is safe, and that's how you want to finish this round. You just basically want to maintain.
Hokom is going to be content just trying to lay it up. This is Paige from outside circle 2.
Wow. I say maintain, but there's Paige just going for it.
She is just relentless. She's always running it.
And that is a death putt. That is a death putt. Oh, sit down.
And Katrina's woes remain with her for the final hole here, unfortunately. So close.
Bag putt 100% still. Very
and
impressive.
I want to commend Catrina and any professional when we see them having a rough round or a tough go at it. And Catrina, like the consummate professional we see out there, just keeping it together, emotionally, mentally, keeping herself in check. At no point did I see her take her bag and throw it into the lake, as some players might do when they get frustrated. It was I certainly commend her throughout her rough round.
Definitely. And Jennifer taps in for
It
her
was
two.
very impressive.
Correct?
She gets the birdie.
The only two on
Thank
the
you,
card.
Madison, for joining us as Sarah's about to tap out. It's a real pleasure having you, and I hope to have you and hopefully more female commentators doing all the work on the commentary side moving forward.
Thank you so much, Terry, for covering us and for putting out these post-produced rounds. We love being able to watch them and have other people watch them.
All right,
It's
that's
awesome.
Vista del Camino, day number 2 here at the 2018 Memorial Championships presented by Discraft. We'll see you for round 3.
We have Paige in the lead right now, and everyone else is kind of neck and neck right behind her.
Yeah!